Erase with the eraser tool. Erase with the eraser tool. The eraser tool changes pixels to either the background color or to transparent. If you are working on a background or in a layer with transparency logged, the pixels change to the background color. Otherwise, the pixels are erased to transparency. And you can also use the eraser to return the affected area to a state selected in the history panel. And we have many steps here now. Step number 1, you should select the eraser tool. Step number 2, set the background color you want to apply if you are erasing in the background or a layer with logged transparency. Number 3, in the options bar, choose a mode setting, then brush and pencil set the eraser to ACT like those tools, and block is a hard-edged and fixed sized and square with no options for changing the opacity or flow. Step number 4, for brush and pencil modes, choose a brush preset and set opacity and flow in the options bar, and opacity of 100% erases pixels completely, and a lower opacity erases pixels partially, and see paint tool options. Step number 5, to erase to a save state or snapshot of the image, click the left column of the state or snapshot in the history panel and then select erase to history in the option bar. And to temporarily use the eraser tool in erase to history mode, and hold down Alt if you use Windows or Option if you use Mac OS, and as you drag in the image. Number 6, drag through the area you want to erase. And how to stroke smoothing. Photoshop performs intelligent smoothing on your brush strokes, and simply enter a value from 0 to 100 for smoothing in the options bar. And when you are working with one of the following tools, brush pencil by the way, makes a brush or eraser, a value of 0 is the same as legacy smoothing in earlier versions of Photoshop, and higher values apply increasing amount of intelligent smoothing to your strokes. And stroke smoothing works in several modes by the way, and clicking in the gear icon to enable one or more of the following modes. Bold string mode bends only when the string is taut, and cursor movements within the smoothing radius leave no mark. And stroke catch up is meaning allows the paint to continue catching up with your cursor, and while you have pushed the stroke, disabling this mode stops paint application as soon as the cursor movement stops. And here in this screenshot, catch up on stroke end completes the stroke from the last paint position to the point where you released the mouse and stylus control. And adjust for zoom is meaning that prevents jittery strokes by adjusting smoothing, and decreases smoothing when you zoom in the document, and increases smoothing when you zoom out. And it changes similar pixels with the magic eraser tool. When you click in a layer with the magic eraser tool, the tool by the way changes all similar pixels to transparent. If you are working in a layer with logged transparency, the pixels by the way change to the background color. And if you click in the background, is converted to a layer and all similar pixels change to transparent. And you can choose to erase contiguous pixels only, all similar pixels on the current layer. And for this screenshot now, this picture, example of erasing similar pixels. This picture is example of erasing similar pixels. And number 1, select magic eraser tool. And number 2, do the following in the option bar. Enter a tolerance value to define the range of colors that can be erased, and a low tolerance erases pixels within a range of color values and very similar to the pixel you click. And a high tolerance, by the way, extends the range of colors that will be erased. Then select anti-aliased to smooth the edges of the area you erase, and then select contiguous to erase only pixels contiguous to the one you click, and or deselect to erase all similar pixels in the image. Then select sample all layers to sample the erased color using combined data from all visible layers. Then specify an opacity to define the strength of the eraser, and an opacity of 100% erases pixels completely, and a lower opacity erases pixels partially. And number 3, click in the part of the layer you want to erase. And how to change pixels to transparent with the background eraser tool. How to change pixels to transparent with the background eraser tool. By the way, the background eraser tool erases pixels on a layer to transparency as you drag, and you can erase the background while maintaining the edges of an object in the foreground. And by specifying different sampling and tolerance options, you can control the range of the transparency and the sharpness of the boundaries. And if you want to erase the background of an object with intricate or wispy edges, use quick select, and the background eraser samples the color in the center of the brush, and also called the hotspot, and deletes that color wherever it appears inside the brush, and it also performs color extraction at the edges of any foreground objects so that color halos are not visible if the foreground object is later pasted into another image. Note here please, note and be careful, the background eraser overrides the log transparency setting of a layer. Like number 1, in the layers panel, select the layer containing the areas you want to erase. Number 2, select the background eraser tool, and if the tool isn't visible, hold down the eraser tool and choose the background eraser from the pop-up menu. And number 3, click the brush symbol in the options bar and set brush option in the pop-up panel, and set the brush option in the pop-up panel. Okay, so choose setting for the diameter, hardness or spacing and angle, and roundness options. And if you are using a brochure sensitive and digitizing tablet, choose options from the size and tolerance menus to vary the size and tolerance of the background eraser over the course of a stroke. Then choose pen brochure to paste the variation on the pen brochure, and choose stylus while to paste the variation on the position of the pen thumb wheel. Choose off if you don't want to vary the size or tolerance. Number 4, do the following in the option bar. Choose the limits mode for erasing and discontinuous to erase the sampled color wherever it occurs under the brush, and continuous to erase areas that contain the sampled color and are connected to one another, and find edges to erase connected areas containing the sampled color while better preserving the sharpness of shape edges. For tolerance, enter a value or drag the slider, and allow tolerance limits eraser to areas that are very similar to the sampled color, and high tolerance erases a border range of colors, by the way. So select protect foreground color to prevent the ensure of areas that match the foreground color in the toolbox, and choose a sampling option. Continues to sample colors, and as you drag and once to erase only areas containing the color you first click, and background swatch to erase only areas containing the current background color. Step number 5, drag through the area you want to erase, and the background eraser tool pointer appears as a brush shape with a cross hair indicating the tool's hotspot. So what about auto erase with the pencil tool? Auto erase with the pencil tool. By the way, the auto erase option for the pencil tool lets you paint the background color over areas containing the foreground color. Like specify foreground and background colors, and select the pencil tool, and then select auto erase in the option bar, and then drag over the image. And if the center of the cursor is over the foreground color, when you begin dragging, the area is erased to the background color. And if the center of the cursor is over an area that doesn't contain the foreground color, when you begin dragging, the area is painted with the foreground color.